Welcome back to Normal Baseball. We are a month into the MLB season, and this past weekend we saw a SLUGFEST in the Mexico Series and a World Series rematch in Houston. Let's get into it. What's going on? Welcome back to yet another episode of the Normal Baseball Podcast. I'm Alex Normal Dog. That's Lewis. And we are back. We are officially a month into the MLB season. Let's clap it up. We are a month in. It's been a very fun month. A very interesting month, to say the least. Some stuff that we didn't expect. And maybe some stuff that we did expect. So we're gonna be talking just about what happened this weekend and kind of give a little overview of what's been going on. You know, the usual. Recap episode. This weekend we saw a couple really good series. We saw the Phillies and the Astros World Series rematch. We saw a 2-game series in Mexico City. We saw the Mariners come back to Toronto for the first time since the wild card. We've seen a few good series, and we have a few things to talk about, so I'm excited. Lewis, how you feeling?
Excited. First month of baseball is down. Could not be happier about it. Happy to have baseball and all that. I'm excited to just break down what went on this week and moving forward. Not really much more to say. I feel like I say the same thing every time.
No, I mean, how you feeling?
Come on,
feeling good?
Of course.
Love to hear it.
You know how much baseball I've watched in the past week?
No, I don't.
More than you can ever imagine.
Okay.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Yeah, let's do it. So, this weekend, I think it's most obvious to start off with the biggest series that happened was the Mexico City series between the San Diego Padres and the San Francisco Giants. So this was a 2-game series, and in the first game, the Padres won 16-11. There were 11 total home runs in this game, and they averaged a 442-foot distance. And only 3% of all home runs hit this season have gone at least 442 feet. So the balls were flying in Mexico City. It was a really good first game. I believe Nelson Cruz went 5 for 5 in this game. Manny Machado had 2 homers. Yep. It was the first game for the Padres where their big four have all homered in the same game. Bogaerts, Soto, Machado, and Tatis. It was a really good game. And a lot of scoring. I believe it was also the longest game of the season at like 3 hours, 39 minutes.
3 hours, 44 minutes.
3 hours, 44 minutes. I was close. 5 minutes off.
Yep.
It was a crazy game.
So, before we get into anything else about the series, let me just remind everybody that the elevation for the stadium that they were at in Mexico City was a whopping 7,349 feet. Now you might be like, okay, that sounds like about where Coors is. Coors Field, located in Denver, Colorado,
Mile high,
is only at 5,279 feet.
Mile high.
Yep. So let it be known that the air was thin, and it was well on display in these past 2 games. The Padres went absolutely nuclear. I mean, Brandon Crawford had a home run called back because it just went foul down the right field line. So what did he do? He absolutely nuked one to almost dead center field the next pitch.
Yeah, that was actually the first homer of the game.
That's cool.
That was the first homer of the game. First homer in Mexico City ever from Major League Baseball. And like you said, yeah, the elevation is like 7,200 feet roughly. About 2,000 feet higher in elevation than Coors Field. So to all the people that think Coors Field is a hitter's paradise, imagine if a team played half their games at this stadium. Imagine what people would say about the legitimacy of, you know, home run counts and hitting counts if a team played 82 games in this stadium. That would be crazy. Because after the series and like the show out that they had, a lot of people went to these games. There was a really good audience. People were saying, put a team in Mexico City. Why not? Could you imagine having a team play at 1,200 feet up in the air. It would be kind of crazy. But
I would love that.
I don't know. I think I would love it. I think it would be cool if a team went to Mexico City, but I think it would just be so annoying having to hear people be like, "Oh yeah, but they play in Mexico City, so of course they're gonna hit home runs," like stuff like that.
I don't know. It still takes a lot of talent to hit the ball and hit it that far.
Yes, but I saw something that said like, I believe it was like a 390-foot home run, 390-foot hit or something. In like a normal stadium would be like 420, 430 in this stadium. Like it does give a. Let's not act like it doesn't help. Like it definitely helps a lot. But yeah, it would be cool. But back to the actual series. It was a really good first game, and then going into the second game, a lot less home runs. The Padres actually won it 6-4, so they took both games in this series.
The celebration of beating the absolute hell out of the pinata while everyone's wearing the mask, like the Rey Mysterio mask, the sombreros, just the vibes are exactly what the Padres needed. You know, like they've been slumping a little bit to start the season. Nothing helps bring a team together more than stuff like that.
Could this be what turns them around now and makes them play hot? They play at home next against the Reds. So if there's any time to continue to play well, it's now for the Padres.
I would absolutely love to say yes. However, they need to prove it first. You know, the Reds are a team that they can definitely prove it more, and then I can be like, okay, looking back on it, that Mexico series helped them turn it around.
Yeah. Nelson Cruz has been incredible. Like I said, he went 5 for 5 in game 1, and he had a triple in game 2. So he was just doing it all this series, and he's really been an underrated pickup for them so far this season. I think a lot of people kind of forget that even happened. He had that eye surgery, which I'm very big on, and it's helped a lot. It's helped significantly so far this year. But overall, I'm really looking forward to the next time we see a Mexico City series.
Yeah.
Because with the home runs, the ball was flying, the elevation, whatever, it was fun. It was fun baseball to watch. The second game was kind of back and forth. The Padres took the lead late. It was a very good series. I thoroughly enjoyed every single part of it.
Yeah, it was hard not to like it, and if anything, it proves to MLB that baseball is a global game, and maybe one day they should have a team in another country or in another state that they should look into expanding not only within the United States borders, but you know, maybe another team in Canada, a team in Mexico. Because it really does. It shows that the game is more than healthy and has more than enough ability to grow. I'm sorry for stuttering there.
No, good. And expanding is coming. I want to say we're gonna see an announcement, you know, in the next year or two about expansion teams coming to MLB. I think it's bound to happen, and we see, you know, new locations for teams. One team that is just moving locations is the Oakland Athletics. They're moving to Las Vegas, so, you know, no expansion franchise there. But the move isn't official, which is why this past weekend, Athletics fans went to the game with signs and protested. Signs that said, sell the team, stay in Oakland. And they protested. They marched around the stadium chanting, you know, sell the team. Or I forgot who the name of their owner is, majority owner. But Fisher, yes. They were chanting about his name. And it said something. Do I think the A's are going to listen? No. But that's another thing with teams relocating and better locations for teams. We had this conversation last week, too, about the A's moving to Vegas. Just kind of like how it is there. I've heard already that it's not like looking great in the sense of, I believe the A's owner, Fisher, is already asking, you know, the city for millions and millions of dollars in money for all that. So we'll see what happens there. But for now, all the fans can do is protest, and that's what they did this weekend.
Yeah, and they showed to the Oakland Athletics and their owner, Mr. Fisher, that, you know, it's not the fans' fault for not showing up, because there should be a good product on the field. And obviously the counter argument to that is that they were in the bottom half of attendance in 2019 when they did make the playoffs, and they were a very good team and had pieces. But, could that be because also you do really need a new stadium? I mean, the fact that we've gone now years of listening to opposing teams' broadcasters coming in and being like, hey, there's rats in the broadcast booth. Oh, there's
possum.
There's possum traps. There's possums in the broadcast booth. And the fact that there's over 100 stray cats that call the Oakland Coliseum their home, it's like maybe that could be part of it, and the fact that I've heard that it's not the best location in terms of going for a quick game.
Can't imagine it would be.
Right, and obviously there are plenty of stadiums that are not in the best location. Yankee Stadium and Citi Field here in New York. They're not in the best locations. But guess what? Because those teams day in and day out, especially in recent years, have shown that they just want to win, and they have gained the support and trust of all of their fans, that it doesn't matter if they have to sit in 4 hours of traffic. It doesn't matter if they have to get past LaGuardia to get to Flushing, Queens. It doesn't matter if even not the Masters, like the Grand Slam is going on at the tennis courts right next to the Citi Field. People are going to go to the game. And I think that's a testament to baseball fans are very committed, and the fact that the team simply threw in the towel and said, I want to make as much money as possible without competing, is embarrassing. And it hurts, because I've heard that stadium is not easy to get to. And it's not a fun time if you go through this whole ordeal of going to the stadium that is out of your way and very difficult to get to, and then you sit there to watch your team lose by 12 runs.
Yeah, I can't speak on how easily you get to the stadium. I haven't really heard anything about it. I haven't looked into that too much. What I do know is that the whole sell the team argument that's not even because of the stadium. Like, that's not even...
It's just to keep them in Oakland.
It is to keep them in Oakland, but I mean, in general, sell the team because you guys don't want to win. Clearly, the organization right now does not want to win. They're in no position to win. They currently sit at 6-23, which is the worst record in baseball by a game. They have the Royals beat by 1 game for the worst record in baseball, and they've had no bright spots. Like, there's nowhere you can look in this lineup where you say that's a bright spot, except for one guy. That is Brent Rooker. Brent Rooker has been their one bright spot this entire season. Brent Rooker so far is hitting .333, and he's slugging .727 with 8 home runs through the first, however many games he's played. He's been very, very good.
Yeah.
But besides that, this lineup has nothing to look forward to. I mean, you have Esteury Ruiz, who has stolen 11 bases. That's not winning you games. That is not winning you games. The fact that this team, they're 23rd in runs scored, which is kind of crazy that they're even 23rd. They have actually scored a good amount of runs in a couple games, but then you look at their pitching. Their pitching is 30th in ERA and 30th in WHIP for their starters, and 30th in ERA for their relievers as well. There is just nothing to look forward to from going to the ballpark, and it just doesn't seem like this team wants to win whatsoever. Although I will be the first one to admit that I have watched a lot of Brent Rooker highlights in the last few days, and I am on the Brent Rooker train.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where he gets traded to this deadline.
Yeah.
It would not surprise me if the Oakland Braves did trade him to the Atlanta Braves. But, you never know. The Dodgers, always buyers. Padres, could they try to make another move to just bolster their lineup more? Plenty of different spots for him to get traded to.
Yeah, Brent, I mean, it's...
I spit everywhere. That was nasty. Sorry.
Very, very random. Brent Rooker kind of... I'm all on the train. I'm ready for Brent Rooker season. I want him to just have a dominant season. Do I think they'll trade him? Probably. But at the same time, probably not. Let's be honest here. I don't...
If they trade him, that's the front office saying we actually hate our fans.
Yeah, we could legitimately care less at that point. That's pretty much what that
I think that we should make a declaration right now, and I'm just coming up with this on the fly, that we should not talk about the Oakland A's anymore until they win 3 games in a row.
Unless it's about them losing.
Yeah, but I'm saying no topic of the Oakland A's. It'd be like, oh yeah, the Padres swept the Oakland A's. The Padres played really well. Xander did this, Xander did that.
How about until they sweep a team? Until their first sweep, we will not be discussing the Oakland A's anymore.
And we just shook on it. Sorry, that's off both cameras, but we did shake on it.
Yes.
Because, they're poverty.
Yeah, no more A's talk.
No more A's.
Sorry, A's fan. Wait.
A's fan. Singular.
Wait, can I speak about Brent Rooker, though? I think I should be able to
We can mention him, but no rant about him.
I feel like I could talk about Brent Rooker, but not the A's in general.
We can talk about Brent Rooker doing well on a baseball field. You cannot talk about the jersey that he wears.
Gotcha.
Because when he's a Dodger...
It has to be mentioned.
When he's a Dodger in 2 months, it's going to look really weird.
It has to be mentioned. But anyway, yeah. So, I'm done with the A's. They are horrible. They can stay at the bottom of the thing. And, yeah, Brent Rooker. So, where do we want to move to now? Because the A's are not fun. Let's go
to talk about teams that are terrible.
Well, yeah, okay. I wanted to go to Phillies Astros.
Okay, do you want to do them first?
I think we should. Just because it was a big series.
It was a big series.
I want to talk about it. I'm ready.
Go ahead.
Phillies Astros.
You seem wired for it.
I was very excited for this series. Mostly because I think a lot of people went into this thinking, the Phillies weren't going to win the series, and they did. In Houston, the Phillies won 2 out of 3, which I know a lot of people did not expect, which, I'm not going to say I saw it coming, but I certainly didn't think that they would get swept, which is, I think, what a lot of people thought.
Yeah.
The Phillies are now 11-5 in their last 16 games. So they've really picked it up since the beginning of the season. They took the first game of this series 6-1 after a really, really good start from Zach Wheeler. They took the second game of the series as well, and then they lost the third game of the series on Sunday Night Baseball, but it was still a really close game, 4-3. We were talking about the Astros. How is this them heating up after last week's series?
And then they got shut down.
And then they got shut down by Zach Wheeler in game 1 of the series, and you were kind of like, oh, maybe...
Zach Wheeler pitched the second game of the series.
Game 2 of the series, my fault.
Yep.
Game 1 of the series was
Nola also threw a gem, though.
I was gonna say game 1 of the series was Nola, and Nola shut them down.
Yep.
So it was kind of like, damn. And this series made me think. Imagine if the Phillies went up 2-1, just like this, but then won in Philadelphia. Like, I just keep thinking about that World Series, and the Phillies did have a really, really good shot to win that series until they got no hit.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I
can't stop thinking about it.
Life out of their team. To get no hit like that in the World Series, it sucks. But
this was good redemption.
Yeah, great redemption. I must say, Phillies really, they were also not playing their best baseball that we thought that they could play.
They've heated up recently.
They have heated up recently.
It was really just the first couple of weeks.
Just as much as we have been saying about the Astros for now, since the start of the season, they need to prove to us that they're still the Astros. I think the Phillies have just proved to us that they're still the Phillies. And they still can win ball games and really get out there and get after any opponent that they play. Whereas the Astros are still now treading water. They're 14-14 on the season. And we have been saying time and time again to the Astros, prove it to us that you guys are the World Series champions. Prove it to us that you guys deserve to be talked about in the same breath as some of the other great teams that are in this league this season. And I feel like they fall short at every opportunity.
Well, the Astros are 15-15.
Oh, 15
because they won
sorry.
today. 15-13. 15-13.
Okay, 15-13.
They're 15-13 right now.
Oh, yes,
they are lucky they are in the AL West because they sit just 2 games back of first place. If they were in, the AL East, they would be in last place right now. Second to last place. You know what I mean? They would be in a lot worse of a spot than they are right now. But they certainly are not doing as good as many people expected them to be doing up to this point in the season. They avoid They avoided that big injury with Yordan Alvarez. We talked about that last episode. He did wind up playing this series. He had like a little neck thing going on, but it proved to be nothing that would land him on the IL, which they got really lucky with because I think losing Yordan on top of Altuve would have been really bad. Yeah. We're seeing some heating up with guys like Bregman and Jeremy Pena. So I think that's a good sign for them. Like, it might just take them a while to heat up. I mean, I know it's been a month already, but we can hopefully see them continue to heat up. Obviously, if you're an Astros fan, you hopefully want to see them continue to heat up. I think it's still a good look for the Astros, especially winning the last game of the series. So now at least you can go into next
snowball it against the Giants. I believe is their next opponent.
Yes, they play the Giants at home, so you can, and they're staying at home. They just won the series. You kind of just, like you said, snowball it and try to make the best out of it. Yes, you lost 2 out of 3, but at this point, it's in the past. So you just got to keep going. As for the Phillies, unless do you have anything to say about the Astros? Anything else?
Not really. Just looking forward to watching Hunter Brown's next start. That's all I can say.
You're a big Hunter Brown guy.
Love the Hunter Brown guy.
Is he pitching on Tuesday? He might be pitching on Tuesday because he didn't even pitch in this series, I don't think.
No, he did not.
But like I was saying about the Phillies, obviously no hit in Game 4 of the World Series. Who was the biggest pitcher in that no-hitter?
Christian Javier.
Christian Javier was.
And who did they get to in Game 2 of the series?
And in Game 2 of the series, off Christian Javier, they scored 3 earned runs on 7 hits. So that's a step up from no hits. And they actually scored off Christian Javier, which was pretty cool. This is a good lineup. People undermine this lineup way too much. This is a really, really good Phillies lineup. They added Trey Turner, and they lost Rhys Hoskins because of an injury. Brandon Marsh has been playing out of his mind. Brandon Marsh has been arguably the best outfielder in baseball this season so far. So far, depending on how you want to look at it. Bryson Stott just cannot stop hitting the ball. He had that long hit streak at the start of the season, and he still has like a .322 batting average right now. Nick Castellanos has looked a lot more like Nick Castellanos, both offensively and defensively. I know you probably want to talk about his defense a little bit. And then they added Trey Turner. There's one more addition they can make to this lineup, too, that they might be making very soon. Do you want me to talk about that, or do you want to speak on Castellanos really quick?
No, break down what their new addition will be.
So, like I said, they added Trey Turner in the offseason. They added Turner, but they lost Rhys Hoskins, and they lost Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper had Tommy John surgery this offseason. He had it on November 23rd, to be exact. And earlier today, it was announced that Bryce Harper could return to the Phillies lineup as soon as Tuesday against the Dodgers in Los Angeles. Harper is getting evaluated tomorrow in Los Angeles, which is Monday, today. He's getting reevaluated in Los Angeles. By the time this podcast goes out, they could already know if he's playing on Tuesday. And depending on what the doctor says, he could be back in this lineup as soon as Tuesday.
Yeah, against the Dodgers.
The Dodgers, which is great.
I mean, if there was any team that you would want to bring extra firepower for, it would be the Dodgers.
It would be. Because the Dodgers have... I feel like they've had a better month than we thought they would. We could talk about that in a little bit. But, the reinforcements are coming, and it's in the form of Bryce Harper. 2 months early. This is why they didn't put him on the 60-day IL to start the season. Because they thought that there was the chance that he will be back. And yes, he'll only be DHing, but that's something that he did pretty much all of last year anyway. Yeah. So he's all right. As long as he can hit, that's really what they want him to do.
And the big hope is that, me personally, is that I hope that he doesn't, swing out of his shoes just yet or, pull down too hard on trying to swing through. Because the last thing that we want is for Harper to have a setback in an in-game setting, because that not only pushes him back maybe 2 months, that might push him out for the rest of the year. So I hope that the training staff and the doctors that Harper is going to are really telling him, you can go out there, you can swing the bat, you can try to be Bryce Harper, but, don't push it. is what I hope they're saying. Because Harper, great competitor, like super intense. And when the moment's big, he wants to make that really big swing, and where he just puts it all into. Where, like, remember 2 years ago in the Powder Blues at home, he hit the walk-off grand slam?
Yeah.
It felt like he just, like, swung as hard as he possibly could. You know, that's why the ball went so far. Like, I feel like there are moments with that, and then there are moments where Harper knows that he just needs a hit. Where last year in the NLCS, it just got out. You know, it just went over the wall. That home run to send the Phillies to the World Series. Like, Harper very easily can control how hard he swings. And I'm hoping that if he doesn't swing hard enough, I'm hoping that if he doesn't swing super hard, like out of his shoes, it won't give him setbacks. Because I don't want to see him get any setback.
I want to say they wouldn't send him out there if he wasn't 100% able to swing at his full ability. I don't think that would be a smart move at all.
Okay. I'm just saying as a precautionary.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, why would you send him out there if he's not able to swing at full strength? Why let him hit?
No, he can probably swing at full strength. I'm saying that I hope he doesn't swing at 110, 120%.
That's what I mean, full strength. Full, like the hardest he can swing. Like, if he can't do that, then I feel like he's not ready to come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because at that point, I'm agreeing. Like you said, at that point, if you can't swing at your 110%. Coming back from Tommy John surgery, a major surgery, don't come back yet. You have to be able to put your full swing out there before you come back, you know? Because then at that point, he's just a liability.
Yeah.
He's only going to be DHing for now, which is quite obvious. But I think when he starts playing the field, he'll be playing first base, which will be in a couple months probably when he's fully healed, like able to throw. But I think they... Personally, I think if he can't swing the bat 120%, maybe wait a couple more weeks. So we'll see what happens with that. Obviously, probably a couple hours after this is put out on Monday, which is when this is being uploaded, we'll know. We'll know whether or not he'll be playing on Tuesday. I certainly hope he is. I am really looking forward to the Bryce Harper comeback, and I'm really expecting him to hit a home run in his comeback.
First pitch?
Yes, that is the most Bryce Harper thing. I don't care who's pitching. Who's supposed to pitch for them on Tuesday?
Who knows?
I don't care who it is.
Syndergaard, maybe?
If it's Syndergaard, that's even better, because Noah Syndergaard had a bad start recently. He's not great. So I'm going to hedge my bets and say Bryce Harper will homer on the first pitch he comes back.
Okay.
I'm going to make that prediction right now. The Dodgers killed the Cardinals, by the way.
Yeah, they did. But I'm over, as I'm wearing my Cardinals shirt, by the way, I'm kind of over talking about them. Another team.
I want to talk about the Dodgers.
I just wish that they would do better. You know, as for the Dodgers, if you want to take it away, you can. But they've been playing really well. I'm very surprisingly happy to see how well they're playing. I'm happy to see Kershaw, future first ballot Hall of Famer Clayton Kershaw, going out there and slinging it the way that I feel like he has been since he entered the league, which has just been a lot of fun to watch. Not really too much that I know of. I will admit, did watch a lot of baseball this week, did not get to watch a lot of Dodger baseball this week.
That's fine. They do have a prospect coming up this week to pitch. It is Gavin Stone. He's their sixth. Really? Yeah, he's their sixth top prospect. He's going to pitch on Wednesday. Why exactly? I think Michael Grove went on the IL. But I don't know. It's interesting. The Dodgers, like you said, they've been playing better than I think a lot of people have noticed. Just because, like, last season, obviously, they won... How many games did they win? 111 or something?
Yes.
And, you know, this season, obviously, they haven't started out like, you know, the Rays have started out. They haven't started out so dominant. Because, yes, they did get a little worse. But at the same time, they're 16-13 right now. They're tied for first place in the NL West. And they're playing good on really all cylinders. Like you said, Clayton Kershaw, first ballot Hall of Famer, has a 1.89 ERA through 6 starts this season. He's been lights out. He pitched a gem against the Mets, who we'll talk about the Mets in a little bit, but he pitched a gem against the Mets. He's just been pitching well against everyone. Obviously, yes, the dark spot in their rotation right now is Noah Syndergaard, who has been horrible so far. But knowing the Dodgers, they'll fix him up in the next couple months.
It's not the Dodgers. Knowing Mark prior, they will fix him in a couple of months.
Okay. Their lineup has been good, but not as good as you would hope. They're 27th in team batting average right now, which is, not what you want. But they're also second in team home runs, which they're hitting the ball out.
Yeah.
Max Muncy's a big part of that.
Of
Dodgers. And like I said, they just swept the Cardinals. They won game 1 7-3. They won game 2 1-0, which was the Kershaw game. Kershaw absolutely dominant. And then yesterday on Sunday, they won game 3 6-3. So it's a fun time in Dodgerland. Like, their record might not be as dominant as you might think, but I still think fun time in Dodgerland.
It always has been a very fun, like a super fun time in Dodgerland. It's just that now it's kind of like, picture Dodgerland as an amusement park.
Okay.
And for the past 5 or 6 seasons, there's been a line to get in. There's been a line at every concession stand, line at every gift shop, line at every ride. This year, it feels like the park, like you can move around, whenever you want to go up to a concession stand and grab a hot dog or something, you can. Your favorite spot to take a photo is open. Your favorite ride is only a 10-minute wait, not a 10-hour wait. That's what it feels like in Dodgerland right now, because it feels like a lot of people are off the Dodger train because of how good some of their opponents are in the NL West, which is exciting because I want to see what the Dodgers look like coming out as this dark horse team more so. Not completely, because they're still the Dodgers, but definitely more of a dark horse this season.
Yeah, they are more of a dark horse.
That was my analogy. It was a good analogy.
It was a good analogy.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Thank you.
They are a bit of a dark horse this season. They have not, obviously they lose the superstar name of Trey Turner, but and Cody Bellinger, who wasn't good. Obviously, he's playing good this season, so far at least. But then you get a guy back like James Outman, who has been absolutely dominant so far this season, and it's the classic story of the Dodgers have this rookie that, he's not a top 5 prospect in baseball or anything, but he's coming out here in the first month of the season batting almost 300 with an almost 1 OPS. James Outman has been incredible. He's been crushing. He crushes off speed. His batting average against off speed pitches is 375 with a 1 slugging on the dot. So he crushes the off-speed. He also hits really well against fastballs. James Outman has been such a pleasant surprise for Dodgers fans. Such a pleasant surprise.
Which, to be fair, I think I can say this with
7th round pick.
Conviction. I'm happy for James Outman just as much as I am for the Dodgers. With the success that he has seen so far and that he will continue to see, barring that he stays healthy, of course, knock on wood there, because James Outman has been quite the story. He's been, it feels like everyone kind of was set in of, there's so many rookies coming up, no way the Dodgers rookie is all of a sudden going to win Rookie of the Year or be in the talk for it. Honestly, right now, if the season were to end, I think he would be the National League Rookie of the Year.
It's Dodgers. It's
Dodgers.
Vintage Dodgers. And of course, you also have Miguel Vargas, who came up. He hasn't been great. He had his first homer the other day. It might have been this weekend. But it's just, the Dodgers always find a way to get it done. It's similar to the Rays, in the sense of just, no matter what, they're always going to find a way to be good.
Well, the Rays are, they're a different specimen.
The Rays are a little bit better than good right now. The Rays, as of Sunday, are 23-6, which is bizarre. They almost swept the White Sox until they gave up 7 runs in the 9th inning to let the White Sox walk it off. Unfortunate, because the White Sox suck. But 23-6 is incredible. Who have they lost to? The only teams they've lost to are the Reds, the Blue Jays, the Astros, and now the White Sox.
Yeah.
And that's just wild. They had one of the best months, arguably, of all time.
Yes, but the interesting thing about it is that I feel like the walk-off that we witnessed on Sunday, or today, at the time of this recording, the walk-off in that last inning felt like it was their manager, or who's their manager? Kevin Cash?
Yeah.
It felt like Kevin Cash panicked and kind of was grasping at straws, which we don't see often from MLB managers, and we don't even see it. It's more rare to see it from a manager like Kevin Cash. And I don't know what was going on in that game. It was just a weird series to begin with like the White Sox fans being like, yeah, season's over, cancel it, this team can't win. Oh, the Rays are so much better than us. And then they come out and score 7 runs in the 9th inning to walk off the Rays. Where Kevin Cash, like I said, was just grasping at straws. It felt like he didn't really know what to do in that situation of watching the team crumble with no time after the last out of that half inning was recorded to do anything, you know? It was just weird. It was weird. It wasn't what I expect from the Rays and what I would have thought the Rays would have done in that situation. So I'm hoping that they figure out something to maybe correct that.
Yeah, I
don't know if I said that right.
I mean, I get what you were saying. I think another thing with it is that he comes in, yes, the Rays had a lead in the 9th inning, but then he comes in and he brings in the reliever. He brings in Jalen Beeks, who has been the Rays' worst reliever this season. He hasn't even been bad. He's had a lot of scoreless outings, but like just in terms of when you look at ERA and amount of runs given up, he's been one of their worst relievers this season. So you bring him in with the large lead, but then he starts to give up runs, and you kind of start to think, well, what do I do now? He's giving up more runs than I anticipated. And then you go to the other guy, but he's already put into this horrible situation, and he gives it all up. Yeah, so I think it was a bad situation. And the Rays do thrive on comebacks. And when you get walked off, you don't have time to come back. There is no comeback after that. So
yeah, and I will say it felt like the Rays tried to sneak a win in against the White Sox on this last game because they, like you said, threw in one of their worst relievers thinking like, hey, let's rest our guys. And the Rays historically have thrived off of swing and miss outside the zone. That's what has made some of their pitchers so great, of tunneling batters to think, okay, this pitch is going to be inside the zone, like right inside of my hands. I got to turn on it. Okay, this pitch is going to be right here on the outside part of the zone. I'm going to have to swing at it. And then watching that ball drop off the table or cut to the side. That's what the Rays have thrived on. And when you bring in another pitcher who's already in a bad situation where you have to force him to throw strikes, a team like the White Sox, they do have good hitters. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. They have good hitters. So they capitalized on the fact that, hey, we're not going to swing and miss because guess what? We know that you can't walk us. You don't want to put more potential runs on base when this game is more than winnable for us. So we're going to get you to throw strikes. And that's exactly what they did. And that's how they came back and won this game. Which, super impressive.
Hey, if you could figure them out, you might as well take advantage.
Yeah, and they did to the fullest extent. So
I feel like it's.
Do we give a round of applause to the White Sox lineup for just one half inning? One clap?
Nope.
One clap?
I'm not.
Okay.
I am not. The White Sox have been absolutely abysmal. I'll talk about them in a second. I just want to say I feel like we are putting a little too much emphasis on one Rays loss. Because they are still 23-6, and they lead baseball.
Pretty bad loss.
They lead baseball in pretty much every offensive category. Mm-hmm. They are either first and second in most pitching categories as well. So it's a little hard to cut on them for one loss when it was pretty much the fault of one pitcher who gave up 5 runs and put the other pitcher who came after him in a horrible position to come into a game. So, I mean, yes, it's a bad loss, but not because of the team. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like they got no hit. Like, that would be a very bad team loss. But, yeah, I don't know. They're still first in literally every offensive category except for stolen bases. Their pitching's been amazing besides today. You know?
Yeah.
So I'm still giving props to the Rays. I'll clap it up for the Rays. I won't clap it up for the Mid Sox, but I'll clap it up for the Rays.
Let's clap it up for the Rays.
Congratulations, Rays, for having a pretty darn good month of April and one game in March.
Yep.
Can't forget about that one game in March. Very important game. Or did they play 2 games in March? They might have played 2. Good couple games in March. Very good April.
They played 1 game in March.
1 game in March. Well, then that one good game in March, too, because I know they won it. But yeah, so looking forward to it. What I'm really looking forward to is this week. I will be watching this series more than I probably should be. The Rays are hosting the Pittsburgh Pirates. And I am going to watch this series more than I should. Because these are the 2 teams with 20 wins currently in baseball. The only 2 teams with 20 wins. They happen to be facing off at this time. Mm-hmm. The Pirates are the underdog team. The Rays are the surprise team. Who's going to win? Who is going to win this Pirates-Rays series this week? Like, I'm genuinely so excited for it, and I shouldn't be.
I think that these teams, when they obviously collide, the only 2 teams at 20 wins, which will be a lot of fun to see in this upcoming week, whichever team walks out of it, I feel like I'm going to be more confident in going forward. You know, if the Pirates take 2 out of 3, I'm going to be like, okay, wait, this Pirate team might be legit, and they might be very good, and we got to watch out for them for the whole season. If the Rays take 2 out of 3, it's like, okay, yes, they couldn't beat the top of the top teams that we expected to be there coming into the season, and those teams have kind of been flustered. They haven't gotten off to the most amazing start. Now they just beat the other best team in baseball. Let me put more stock into the Rays.
Feels more legit.
Yeah. So I think it's a win-win for baseball, and I'm going to be riding with the Pirates.
I am too, just because underdog.
Yeah, because it feels like everyone's expecting the Rays to go in and win this series and win it convincingly, because historically the Pirates have not been a team to watch, but I'm going to ride with my Pirates.
I'm going to ride with the Pirates too. I like what you said about, if the Pirates lose, you're going to be like, maybe they can't beat the top of the line teams, the teams that are playing really well. They can't shut teams down. But then when you look at it from the Rays, they're beating all these bad teams, but can they actually beat teams that are doing good? If the Pirates win the series, you're like, wow, the Pirates might be legit. They just took down the team with the better record in baseball. Like, what happens if the Pirates sweep? Are they tied for the best record in baseball?
Probably.
23-6? Yeah, they would. If the Pirates sweep this week, they'll be tied for the best record in baseball. Which, that's pretty big.
Nothing's stopping them.
Nothing is stopping them. The pitching matchups are a little...
No, they would have the best record in baseball. They would be 23-8, whereas the Rays would be 23-9.
They lost today. 20 and
oh, yeah,
right now they're 20-9. So 3 wins would be 23-9. 3 losses for the Rays would be 23-9 as well. I'm just so excited for this series. I don't know why.
Yeah, this will be the series that I watch this week. It'll be a lot of fun to watch.
And the Pirates have been fun to watch too. They just took 2 of 3 from the Nationals. They lost the final game of the series on Sunday, but their lineup's just been absolutely incredible. Everyone's hitting. Brian Hayes has been kind of more defensively than offensively, but then you look at everyone else in the lineup. Brian Reynolds obviously has been going off. McCutcheon's been raking. Carlos Santana has been incredible. Sawinski, Connor Joe, Rodolfo Cat. It just goes on and on.
A bunch of guys who you didn't expect to do this well, expect to do well to start the season, have come out and done really well.
Yeah, and then you also have Drew Maggi, who got his first hit yesterday.
Clap it up for Drew Maggi.
Gotta clap it up. Love that from Drew Maggi. 13 years in the minor leagues. I'm sure everyone by now has heard of that story. Very happy for him. Although I am a little worried because I don't see him on their Fangraphs page. I doubt they sent them down. We would know about it if they did.
Yeah, Fangraphs is also pretty They're usually a day behind, sort of like Baseball Reference, day behind to update everything. Day or two behind.
Yeah,
makes sense. Yeah. So, but congratulations, Drew Maggi. Congratulations, Pirates. They're off to one hell of a start, and I'm hoping that we get to see them continue. Will be a fun series to watch this week. Definitely, if you have the ability to watch it, even if you just can listen to it on the MLB app, listen to it. Like, just take in the series any way that you possibly can, because it's going to be a fun series. It could be a pitcher's duel, or it could just be an offensive explosion from both teams, and it'll be fun to see which one it is.
I have bad news.
What?
Drew Maggi is currently in Double-A. So he did get his hit.
He did?
But then they sent him right down.
Okay. Good for him, though.
Good for Drew Maggi, though. The round of applause still stays. But it is worth noting that he is back in Double-A. Miguel Andujar's back for them. He had 2 homers.
He did.
In one game, right?
Yeah, it was very impressive.
Yeah, he's batting 800.
Yep.
Best player in baseball?
No.
Miguel Andujar?
Not at all.
All right, what else we got? The Yankees suck.
Yep, next topic.
No, we do have to talk about the Yankees.
Yeah, the Yankees are suffering from something.
They went on a slide.
The Yankees have historically suffered from time and time again, and now this is the part where, at least me personally, my little Yankee fandom is going to come out. Injuries have been the storyline of this team time and time again since basically, 2017, 2016?
Yeah, probably.
Like those 2 seasons when it was always next man up. And then 2021, we get like this injury-riddled season where Aaron Judge still finishes 4th in MVP. 2022, Aaron Judge wins the MVP, as everybody knows, and the team looked very healthy, still got swept by the Astros in the ALCS. Depressing. This season, we are talking about the fact that at one point, the Yankees, and I say we, as the New York Yankees,
the New York Yankees,
had Franchy Cordero batting cleanup.
Oh, yeah. No. Willie Calhoun.
Oh, yeah, Willie Calhoun batting cleanup. Franchy Cordero is a staple in this lineup as of right now. IKF and Aaron Hicks are playing the outfield almost every day. Jake Bauers literally had 2 outs of experience at the big leagues before getting injured. It's upsetting. Aaron Judge is also injured. No one knows if he's going to the IL or if they're just going to take it slow and nurse him day by day. But there have been bright spots just as much as there has been their down spots. Garrett Cole has looked great. He hasn't even given up a home run yet, which has been the storyline of his career in a Yankee uniform. Anthony Volpe is getting more and more comfortable by the day, facing big league pitching. Rizzo is looking just as normal as he ever did. DJ looks completely healthy. Gleyber Torres is playing completely fine. Ron Marinaccio. That's about it.
Franchy Cordero is in the minors right now, so they did send him down, but still the fact that Willie Calhoun at some point in this Texas Rangers series batted cleanup is a bit ridiculous. They just lost the series to the Rangers, as we said. They lost 2 of 3, 3 of 4 they lost.
No.
They lost 3 of 4 to the Rangers. Not a good look whatsoever, like you were saying. And what the issue has been with this team, aside from Sunday when they gave up however many runs, 15 runs, their pitching hasn't really been the issue. I mean, their relievers have the best ERA in baseball for relievers. I mean, maybe not after today, or rather not after giving up 15 runs, but it's been their hitting. They have not been hitting. They're 25th in baseball in batting average. They're not getting on base. They looked so much better in the first week of the season when you had Stanton in the lineup. Stanton was a big part of the lineup when Judge was not even worried about being healthy. Judge, like you said, we don't know if he's going on the IL right now. He might. It'll be retroactive, so we might get him back sooner, but he's not playing right now. And when you have Willie Calhoun batting 4th, like, what are we doing? It's just their hitting is what is bringing them down right now. They cannot score runs. Like, the Athletics are scoring more runs than them right now. It's
at this point, the Yankee fan in me says I'm not surprised, because this team is actually, like, they're using 2 crutches and their legs have gone limp.
That's literally what it is.
Because it's just, I feel like 2 months from now, we're going to be talking about how the Yankees have a bunch of ground, obviously, to make up because of their terrible start. And the fact that the Rays have had such a great start. Of course, it's doable. It's baseball. But we're going to be talking about how, hey, they're on this path where they can make up the games. Where right now, it feels like winning one game is too big of an ask for this team unless they have Garrett Allen Cole pitching.
Exactly. It's the Garrett Cole game is the only game that they're like, okay, if we lose this, then something's wrong. Obviously, there is something wrong, but you know what I mean. If they lose a Cole game and Cole is pitching well, that's a bad look.
Big issue.
But obviously, like you said, the big issue with the Yankees so far this season has been their injuries. Donaldson, Bader has been injured the entire season. Stanton got injured after his good start to the season.
Rodon and Severino. Pitching side.
Yeah, Rodon, Severino on the pitching side. Even in the bullpen, Tommy Kahnle, who you signed, he was one of your big free agent signings. He hasn't even pitched yet. Loizaga, like you said, Lou Trevino, Scott Effross. It's just
Effross is done for the season. Effross, we knew.
Well, yeah, but you're still missing him.
Yeah.
It's just there's a lot of pieces missing from this Yankee team, and this is not the lineup they were expecting to roll out a month into the season on opening day or right before spring training started. This is nothing what their lineup was supposed to look like a month into the season. It does suck. Jake Bauers got called up. Didn't even get in that bat.
Yeah, he played literally for 2 or 3 outs.
Yeah, ridiculous.
It's one of those things where Jake Bauers, honestly, when I heard that he was getting called up, I was very excited because he looks like a type of kid. What?
Nothing.
What did you say?
I said Jake Bauers, but I said it. Go on.
Jake Bauers, when I saw that he was getting called up, I was excited because it's like, another kid that the Yankees are kind of going to have to lean on. Next man up mentality. Let's go out and, come on, Bauers, let's show him what you got. And he literally gets injured on his first playing attempt.
Made a hell of a play.
One hell of a play. The catch probability was like 24% or something.
Incredible play.
Great play. I would have rather had it drop for a double and having him being able to walk off the field and go to bat. I don't know.
Great play.
It stinks. Nothing more that you can really do about it.
Yeah, Yankees suck. What else is new? They're last in the division for the first time in what feels like forever.
No, but
they're tied with the Red Sox, so technically they're not last. They're 4th.
I'm not surprised.
I'm surprised if I didn't know about all the injuries. With all the injuries, I'm not surprised. Because how are we winning games without Judge, Stanton,
Bader,
Rodon, Sevy? How would we win games? Those are those are big guys in our rotation and in our lineup. So, God forbid, Carlos Rodon even pitches a game in pinstripes. When are we gonna get that? I feel like we haven't heard anything about Rodon in the past week and a half. Last I heard, the exact last thing I heard about Carlos Rodon is that, this is direct quotes, his back was barking. That is the last thing I've heard about. That is the last thing I've heard about Carlos Rodon. So I don't know. We'll see.
They're still
15 and 14.
The positive spin on it is that they're actually closer to a wild card spot than you think.
That's what I'm saying. They're 15 and 14. In most other divisions, this is in the AL Central. That's second place.
No.
In the AL West, that's half a game back of Houston. That's tied with the Angels. In the NL East, that's
5th. 8 games out. The Yankee fan in me is going to say
ridiculous.
This team sucks because of the injuries. The baseball side of me is going to say this team is very injured. There's nothing that they can do about it except nurse everybody back to health and hope that when they do come back, Severino and Rodon especially, that there's nothing else wrong with them. Because I feel like I trust Donaldson, I trust Stanton, I trust Judge to come back, I trust Bader to come back and be healthy. It's the guys who have notoriously not kept on the field for as long as they should have over the course of their career, Severino and Carlos Rodon, I feel like are the 2 guys that we kind of have to worry a little bit more about. But only time will tell. and I'm hoping that 2-3 months from now, we're talking about this team being much, much better, much, much more playing up to the standards of what the New York Yankees have been since 1800s, since the inception of the New York Yankees.
It's fair. Yankees baseball. It's in an interesting spot right now. Also, I think you said that your Yankee fan and your baseball fan said the exact same thing.
No, the Yankee fandom says this team sucks.
But you said because of the injuries.
Right, but the baseball fan in me is much more calm and composed about it. Whereas, honestly, the Yankee fan in me is ready to put my fucking head through this wall. Not through Adley Rutschman, but through this wall.
It was bad. It's bad. It's been some bad baseball. Especially, they're really unfortunate that they're in a division like the AL East, which the AL East has been incredible all around this season. You got teams like the Rays, the Orioles, who are 8-2 in their last 10. They're 19-9. They can't lose baseball games. And the Blue Jays, who sneakily went 18-10 in the first month of the season.
Yeah.
I feel like that was very sneaky. They've been
under the radar
good.
Because they're in the division with the Rays.
Yes, but I feel like even then it's gone way too under the radar. The fact that they are 18-10, it's not even because they're in the division with the Rays. I think it's just because they're in the AL East in general. Because you got the Rays and the Orioles both ahead of them right now. And then you still have the Red Sox and Yankees who are above 500. It's the only division in baseball with every team above 500. So I feel like it does kind of go unnoticed because when you think of the AL East, you don't think, oh yeah, wow, the Blue Jays are 18-10. You think, oh wow, that entire division is good.
Yeah.
Although the Blue Jays did just blow a game in Toronto.
The Blue Jays pulled the Blue Jays.
Very
is
ironic.
That fair to say?
Yes, they pulled the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays, I believe they took 2 out of 3 though. Did they? They still did take 2 out of 3, I believe. They played the Mariners this weekend, and they won the first game 2-3. They won the second game 1-0 on a walk-off. 1-0. Kevin Gausman pitched 7 innings with no earned runs and 13 strikeouts in this game, and did not get the win because they went to extras and it was 1-0. But
whoa, time out. Quick mention. Kevin Gausman, his splitter has statistically been the best pitch in baseball since 2019 when he started throwing it. Or he's thrown it over 150 something times, and it is yet to be put in play for a hit since 2019. Quick shout out to Kevin Gausman. Absolutely amazing splitter. If you look at the heat map from 2019 to today, his splitter is it is actually a gorgeous array of just below the zone. Like that part where every batter needs to panic swing at it, but guess what? That's a splitter. It falls right off, and no one can really touch it. So, round of applause for Kevin Gausman real quick.
Yep.
Good job, Kevin Gausman.
Leads baseball in strikeouts right now.
Yes, he does.
But yeah, so that leads us to the final game of this series, which is pretty comical. I say pretty comical. Extremely comical.
Indubitably.
The Blue Jays had an 8-0 lead going into the 4th inning of this game. Rather, they had an 8-0 lead going into the 6th inning of this game. And one thing leads to another. The Blue Jays lost this game 10-8.
Yep.
They blew an 8-0 lead to the Mariners. They did the same thing last year in the wild card in the playoffs, and that's how they got eliminated from the playoffs. Hilarious. Obviously, they still win the series, but the fact that they blew an 8-0 lead again to the same team, the Mariners, I find that really funny. Cal Raleigh hit a home run in the 8th inning, top of the 8th inning. He hit 2 home runs, actually, in this game. He hit 1 in the 8th inning and then 1 in the 10th inning. Both, were significant home runs. And, I feel like this would have been a lot worse if it made them lose the series, but considering they already won the series, you can kind of look at it and feel a little bit better. Zach Pop gave up that home run in the 10th inning. Not a great look. Anthony Bass that also gave up a couple runs. But, it is what it is. I would be a little bit more worried. I know you were big on the, oh my God, they blew another 8-0 lead, but they won the series, so.
They did, but again, it's one of those moments where it's just comical to blow an 8-run lead, especially when you got bounced from the playoffs the season before, because you blew an 8-run lead. You would think that this Blue Jays team would be like, okay, we're not blowing it this time. Let's lock the fuck in and finish out this game, and they just didn't.
No, they just didn't. That would have been great. Imagine they were 19 and 9. They would have had the same record as the Orioles. Yeah. Then we would have probably been like, oh well, like even to more of an extent. I would have been like, oh wow, rather than just like, oh wow.
Yeah, the Blue Jays. Okay, yeah.
Wow.
The thing that shocks me the most is that neither one of the teams, in all honesty, has really found their footing entirely, playing up to the standard that we expect them to. You know, the Blue Jays going 18-10 through the first month of the season, with Matt Chapman being like the leading force of their offense. Definitely did not expect that.
Yeah.
But it's still a pleasant surprise to see that Matt Chapman is having this resurgence after not having the best 2022 season. And then on the other side, obviously, my boy, my Lord and Savior himself, the arguably best player to ever play the outfield for the Seattle Mariners in the history of their franchise, Jared Kelenic.
Thought you were going somewhere else.
Has looked really good so far, and I'm happy to see it. Teoscar returning to the Rogers Center
That's
for the
also,
first time.
Yeah,
was a lot of
big
fun.
thing too.
Yeah, very cool. Very, very cool moment for Teo and all of the six.
Yeah. Matt Chapman, you mentioned him. Yes, he had a bad 2022, but that was actually better than his 2021 season. So he's been getting better. And I had this same talk, a couple weeks ago when he was still obviously playing good. There are a lot of good third basemen in baseball, great third basemen in baseball, but they're all locked up to long contracts.
Yeah, Matt Chapman's going to get paid. I believe we had this conversation.
Yeah, Matt Chapman's playing. Okay, let me. Can I talk my shit again? Don't snap at me. I'm going to 5-knuckle shuffle you. I'm going to do it. And Matt Chapman is going to be a free agent after the season, so if he can continue to dominate, it's going to be a very big payday for him. A very, very big payday, especially with his defense being as good as it is. He just both sides of the ball. If you could get it done. So far through the first month of the season, he's getting it done. 384 batting average, a 1.152 OPS.
Yeah. Very, very, very good start to the season for Matt Chapman, who
15 doubles.
As we've said plenty of times, will get paid this offseason if he continues to play like this. Quick round of applause for Matt Chapman.
15 doubles through a month of the season is absolutely wild to me. It's a great start. It's a great start. Good job, Matt Chapman. Keep it up. I hope you get a massive payday, and I hope it's from a team that isn't the Blue Jays.
Fair enough.
I just like when guys move around. I'm a big fan of players moving teams, unless it's Aaron Judge.
He would look really good in an Oakland A's uniform.
Would he?
Yeah.
I feel like he would play really good in Oakland. I feel like he'd be like a platinum glover there.
He might be.
We'll never know. Yeah, we'll never know.
Anyways, where do you want to go now?
We went past the Rangers. Jacob deGrom might need Tommy John surgery again.
Yeah.
He keeps leaving games because of forearm tightness, and 60-something% of the time, that means you need Tommy John. He's had Tommy John already, but you can get it more than once, and I think he might be on trajectory too.
I think that it's the writing's on the wall. It might be why the Mets didn't give him that extra year of his contract, and why deGrom sought out an extra year of his contract, because deGrom, I believe everyone knows, is just like a natural competitor. He wants to compete. So if he knew going into this offseason, hey, my forearm might not be super comfortable, I might at some point need Tommy John, and if I have to sit out a year, I want to get that year back. And I think that's why he signed the 5-year instead of a 4-year deal. So I'm just going to put that out into the universe that if he does need Tommy John, I'm hoping 1, he gets through it successfully, 2, he recovers from it well, and 3, he comes back to the majors as the Jacob deGrom that we all know. Or I hope that it all gets cleared up and he doesn't need it and he can just continue to pitch the way that deGrom is.
In no way are we saying that he is going to have to get it.
We're not breaking any news.
No, we're not breaking any news. It just seems like that is what the writing on the wall is right now. And it's just so sad because He pitched 3 amazing innings against the Yankees, and he, had two outs in the 4th, and just...
It looked like the Yankees were a Little League team.
Yeah,
really did.
You just see him come out, and your first thought is, oh my God, what is it now? He's on the 15-day IL now with elbow inflammation.
Which is another thing that leads to Tommy John.
Just a lot of stuff with his arm, and that's just never a good thing. There's, of course, all the comments about once a Met, always a Met. He's just going to keep getting injured. It's not going to be good for the Rangers in terms of deGrom. He's given them like one long start all season. And since then, he's been taken out of the game like 3 times because of injury.
Yeah,
he
like
started like 6
staff.
games. He's only started like 6 games, and he's come out of like 3 of them
I know,
because of injury.
So bad.
It's just a horrible look, and I'm hoping that he can figure it out. But like, I'm literally just repeating myself over and over again, because how many times have I sat here and gone, man, I hope deGrom can stay healthy this time. Man, I hope he figures things out. Man, I hope he doesn't get injured again.
Feels like it's been forever.
And it's happened every time.
Yep.
It's horrible.
Rooting for him to either get healthy or get the surgery, deGrom, and come back and be the dominant pitcher that we know you are.
Yeah. I would sure love to talk about his former team, the New York Mets, but unfortunately, they didn't really play this weekend.
Yeah.
They were supposed to play a 3-game set against the Atlanta Braves, and unfortunately for them, they played 1 game, technically.
Well, fortunately for the Mets.
No, unfortunately for the Mets, they played 1 game. They lost the game in 5 innings. They lost 4-0. They didn't get a chance to finish the game because of rain, so they lost 5-0, or 4-0 in 5 innings, which a lot of Mets fans were very mad about that. Like division games, say we lose the division by 1 game, again, like tie game, it's because of this 5-inning game that never was finished. They played, so that's the only game they played. Got rained out on Saturday, and then the doubleheader got rained out today. I don't even know when they're playing these games.
Monday.
I didn't look at. Are they actually playing both on Monday?
Yeah, because I believe it was supposed to be a travel day, is what I think it was for both teams. So let me just double check myself here. Yes, because they. Oh no!
No, they were. I think they were supposed to play on Monday.
So they're going to be missing a game. They'll probably make it up at some point later in the season. They are playing a doubleheader though on Monday. Of the time of this, being posted, they're playing a doubleheader
today. Yeah, at 1:00. Yeah,
single admission doubleheader too.
That's fun.
Good for them.
I feel like you said it to me before. This series was more marketed than the entire Mexico series.
Yeah, and in the 1 game so far that we've seen, the Braves looked like the much, much better team. Also want to point out Max Scherzer's suspension got pushed back because it didn't count as game days for the Mets. So
now it's pushed back to Wednesday, maybe.
Yeah, now Scherzer cannot come back until Wednesday, more than likely. Bummer, but whatever. I do think
it just sucks because he can't
pitch. Caught a lucky break.
It sucks that he can't pitch against the Braves, is what it is.
Yeah, it does. I do think, though, the Mets did catch a break on letting this Atlanta offense cool down for 2 days. Like having 2 days, because this Atlanta offense has looked very, very good, even though they were going into this series where the Nationals in the last 5 games went 1-4. The offense still looked like it was going to get going, type of thing, and then it got going in the first game where they lost 4-0, of course, in 5 innings, but it was going. So hopefully now that it cooled down, we're going to see the Mets offense pick up a little bit, and it'll be a fun series.
Well, we'll see if they even do wind up cooling down, because for all we know, they're just going to keep hitting.
Yeah.
Because, 2 off days obviously can be a big reset button, and it could be a very big slower down for a team. But I don't know. The Braves might just come out here again tomorrow and just crush the ball again.
Wait, they're not missing a game.
Were they not supposed to play on Monday anyway?
They were not supposed to play on Saturday. They played Friday, Sunday, Monday.
That just can't be.
I'm looking at it on Baseball Reference. That's what it has it in as.
Well, probably because they didn't play on Saturday and Baseball Reference wasn't updated for Sunday.
Maybe?
That's 100% what it is. Baseball Reference doesn't update till the next day. They were 100% supposed to play on Saturday. I was looking at tickets for the game.
Oh, you're right.
It got rained out. Yeah. That's why there was a doubleheader on Monday.
Oh, yeah, so they probably took it out
on
because
Sunday.
It's going to be made up at some point later.
Yeah, they'll make it up at some point later in the season.
Division rivals, so they do play each other at home more than once.
Yeah, they have opportunities. So at least it happened against the Braves. But I do know a lot of Mets fans are mad about that first game. But they played 5 innings. So
that's the rule of baseball, then winning those 5 innings.
Yeah. What else we got?
Do you want to just get to our little fun topics, and then we'll do... Then we'll do our Players of the Week.
Yeah, where you want to get?
Let's talk about the Brewers. They're infamous now, arguably one of the most entertaining mid-inning performances. Beat the Cheese.
Beat the Cheese.
Which has been nothing short of entertaining to watch, especially because we're not seeing it on TV. Most of it is recordings from people who are attending the games, which makes it all the much more fun. It's similar to Beat the Freeze that the Braves used to have. I don't know if they still do it. But instead of
they do.
The entertainer who works with the Braves, or the Brewers, I should say, the Cheese, having to wait.
I love just the Cheese.
Gets the head start. And it's this guy who just simply cannot run.
And he's in a big cheese costume.
It's not his physical capability. He's probably a track star. But you're running with this giant cheese costume on.
He gets the head start.
And then a fan has to try to beat him. Which, I genuinely...
Hilarious.
I want to start emailing the Brewers Daily. I will do whatever it takes to get to a Brewers game, if that means I can race the cheese.
It's incredible. I've seen one video of it, and the fan lost.
Yeah.
He fell over. I'm like, how does every fan fall over?
When they were neck and neck, too.
How does every fan fall over during these races? I think Beat the Cheese was amazing, and I love it because it rhymes with freeze.
Yeah.
Beat the Cheese, and it's
at the All-Star game,
Wisconsin.
We need them to compete.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. Give the Cheese like a 30-second head start.
Yeah. Middle of the 5th inning, and
hilarious.
Yeah. Middle of the 5th inning, just have them just line up. Don't even say anything. Just have them both line up on one foul pole.
I'm all here for Beat the Cheese. I'm all here for it.
I'm all in on Beat the Cheese versus Beat the Freeze.
I would bet on the Cheese. Just because I like the cheese more.
Fair enough.
No offense to the Freeze, but I love the Cheese.
The Cheese is a lot funnier watching him
100%.
Run across the outfield track. Especially because unlike the Braves, who have a perfectly half-circle shape to their outfield, the Brewers don't. So it's all the more funny watching him make the sharp left-right, staying right on the warning track.
Can you freeze cheese?
Yeah. It's called frozen cheese.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Okay, let's get to the Players of the Week.
Whoa.
Why? What else do you want to talk about?
Do you not have anything else? Because I have one more thing.
Shohei and Trout?
No. But do you want to talk? That can be your last thing.
Yeah, I'll tell you about Shohei and Trout. So, on, what was it, Saturday?
Yes.
On Saturday, obviously the Angels this weekend, they played the... Who did they play? They played the Brewers. Yes, that's right. They played the Brewers. They actually lost the series. Did they get swept? Did they lose today? Did they lose on Sunday?
No, they won.
Okay, so they won two. They won 2 or 3 then.
Yeah.
But in Game 2, we had the classic case of the Angels do not score any runs and Trout and Ohtani do everything. Mike Trout was 3 for 4 with 5 runs batted in and 2 home runs. And Shohei Ohtani was 3 for 5 with 2 stolen bases. And they lost the game 5-7.
Yeah.
They're stuck.
That's
all I have to say.
They're stuck.
They're
Amen.
stuck. Free them. Ohtani will be freed after the season. Maybe. Trout will not be
All
free.
30 teams have an equal opportunity to offer Shohei Ohtani.
Then for now, I'll just say free Trout.
Free Trout.
Trout.
Till it's backwards, baby.
Free Trout. Anyway.
Yep.
What do you
and
want?
as for my last thing, Manuel Clase. You have his jersey.
I love Manuel Clase.
Yeah. Hard not to love him. In 2021, 63% of his cutters were thrown at 100 miles an hour or faster. In 2022, he threw his cutter at 100 or more miles an hour 33% of the time. This season so far, he has not thrown one cutter at or over 100 miles an hour. Are we witnessing a slow regression, or do you think something's wrong? Clase has been sort of this Iron Man. I don't ever think that he has suffered a major injury, and I'm hoping that that time is not now because the Guardians desperately need someone. They need everybody to start really firing on all cylinders, including Emmanuel Clase.
Yeah, I don't really know what's wrong with him. Guardians fans, feel free to let us know.
But he's not throwing a pitch over 100 miles an hour yet, and still has 9 saves.
Well, he's still a good pitcher. His stuff still moves. But Guardians fans, let us know what you think is wrong with Emmanuel Clase this season. He hasn't been as sharp as he was last season, no matter what way you look at it. What is his average? His average velo on the cutter this season.
This season? Oh boy, that's gonna take me a second.
Average velo on the cutter this season. 97.8 miles per hour.
So that's a few ticks off of what it usually has been.
Yeah, last year it was 99.5. So almost a whole 2 miles an hour more. So
less.
I said almost a whole 2 miles an hour. Oh, less. You're right. Well, it was almost a whole 2 miles an hour more 2 years ago. Is what I mean. That's what I meant. Yeah. Or last year. So I don't really know. I don't know what's wrong with him. I mean, I hope it changes because there's a reason I bought his jersey. I love Clase. When he's lights out, he's fun because he comes in the game and you're like, well, there's no chance. There's literally no chance.
Yeah, he completely has eliminated the fastball from his arsenal so far this season. Interesting choice, but when you think about seasons past, how dominant his cutter has been because of how fast it is, it's like, okay, maybe you don't need to throw the fastball that often. Now that your cutter is getting really, ticked off, and it's well below average cutter velo for who Emmanuel Clase is, maybe he should start throwing that fastball again, just until he gets his velo back up if he's dealing with an injury, maybe even sit for a series. So what if they need to go to James Karinchak to close out a game or two? It really shouldn't matter that much. That's my last thing, really, that I wanted to talk about. Just hope that something gets figured out, and if Clase just doesn't want to throw over 100 miles an hour anymore, all the power to you, because guess what? He's still a great pitcher.
Clase, he's 100th percentile in fastball spin. So,
it's impressive.
Yeah, that fastball.
It spins.
96th percentile in fastball velocity. So, he's good at throwing the ball fast. He's good at making the ball spin. Hopefully he can get more back on track because he's still been good. He's still got a 1.88 ERA. He's still got 9 saves. He has blown a couple, but Emmanuel Clase. All right. Well, should we get to the players of the week now?
Let's do it.
I'll sing our little song. Players of the week. It's the players of the week. Yeah. Hey, yeah.
Nice. Love that.
Players of the week. AL and NL, of course. Lewis, you have the NL this week.
I have the AL this week.
You have the AL this week. I have the NL this week.
Yeah. You lead us off.
I cannot because I wrote down AL. So you lead us off.
Oh, boy. Okay, so for my AL hitter of the week is where I'll start. I went with Randy Arozarena, the Tampa Bay Rays. He has a 1.147 OPS this week with 4 homers, 11 RBIs, and a .383 batting average over the course of 1 week. And he's just simply, as he has been all season, the offensive charge for the Rays. So just Randy Arozarena, clap it up. AL hitter of the week.
I disagree.
I know that you disagree.
I had.
Who did you have? That's interesting.
I had Brent Rooker, but that's where I'll stop speaking just because
Oakland A's.
It's not my person. True. So I can't speak on it.
All right.
You gotta give your pitcher because I am completely thrown into the water right now.
Okay, for my AL pitcher of the week, I went with Sonny Gray of the Minnesota Twins. He had 2 starts where he combined for 15 strikeouts, 1 run, 4 walks, and having a 1.86 FIP, which is field independent pitching. Looks really, really great. He improved his ERA on the season to a .62, which is massively impressive. I could not be happier for Sonny Gray because the Twins have desperately needed all of their pitching to come alive with Joe Ryan and Pablo Lopez, and they're getting it out of Sonny Gray, who is on a contract year, and I hope that he performs well enough that he can earn a good contract either with Minnesota or with any team that is willing to give him a contract, because when he looks as good as he has looked recently, there's no reason why he should not be a top-end starter in this league. That's all I got, really.
Okay, nice. Well...
Did I stall enough for you?
No, you're good. You didn't... you're good. I'm going to be honest. Looking at it, the NL wasn't... There was no crazy performances in the NL this week. Especially, specifically on the hitting side of the ball. I'm going to have to probably give it to... I'm going to give it to Manny Machado, I think. They played in the Mexico series. He had 2 homers in a game. He had 2 doubles this week. He had a 1.304 OPS this week. He's looking to get back on track. He started off this season really bad, if I'm being quite honest.
He did.
Really bad start to the season.
His baseball savant page looked like Antarctica.
It did. I saw him and Arenado have started off really bad. So I'm excited to, see if he can get back on track and see if this week is the week that kind of started it. So I'm going to go with Manny Machado for my AL. NL hitter is what I meant to say.
Okay.
Hitter of the week.
As for your pitcher?
As for my pitcher, you see that's interesting. I am going to go with.
By the way, guys, this is all done on the fly a little bit. Alex messed up a little bit.
I wrote down. I wrote AL. I wrote my AL players of the week.
Which is funny because before...
I had both different players than you did.
Yeah.
So that's interesting how it would have been a lot different had I done it.
And what's even better is that literally before we sat down to record this, you said to me specifically, you have the AL this week, right? And I said,
yeah,
yes,
I wasn't thinking. That also wasn't right before. That was a little while before. But it's all right. Because usually I wait to do my players of the week before after all the games end,
mm-hmm.
which would make sense. So with my NL player of the week, pitcher of the week, well, player of the week. Yeah. He's still a player.
Okay.
Pitchers are players too, Lewis.
They are. Who is it?
I'll give it to Alex Cobb.
Alex Cobb. Looked good.
Yeah, he gave up 3 earned runs. He pitched 14 innings in just 2 starts. You know what?
You already said it.
No, I'm changing it. I'm giving it to Jordan Montgomery. He pitched an absolute gem against the Dodgers a couple days ago. In 2 starts, he only gave up 1 earned run this week. Pitched 12 and 2/3 innings. He struck out 13 guys. Jordan Montgomery.
Clap it up for our players of the week. And let's clap it up for Alex. Great pivot. Well done.
All right. Well, we thank you guys for watching, listening, viewing, commenting, subscribing, liking, sharing. If you're still watching, we love you guys. And we will see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys for watching once again. And a peace.